What is up, my friends? It is Thursday night. It is the late night agenda, and you're all very welcome along. I seen one comment saying, WTF is this intro? That's just me and practicing my dance moves with Newlawn, our friendly alien. Of course. What else would you expect on a Liverpool Football Club fan channel other than the host to be in cartoon form dancing with his pet alien? Come on, dude. I hope that you are all ready for a fun evening. I'm looking forward to it tonight. Tomorrow, of course, we're up in Belfast, so we won't be live, but we're going to have some fun tonight. We're going to be talking about the growing links to Bruno Guimaraes. Again, don't kill me, don't come at me. I'm not the one putting the stories out, but we will be talking about it. We'll be having a little look at a possible Saudi raid for a couple of Liverpool players. Thankfully, one of them isn't Alisson Becker. He is staying at the club. We'll go through that as well. We'll be talking about why Antoine Griezmann could be available for just €15 million. How Liverpool are no longer in the race for Luis Guilherme, and loads of other bits and pieces over the next, who knows, the next amount of time. However long we stay on for till we're all bored of each other. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you all had a wonderful day today. I'm both really excited and really nervous about tomorrow, but I hope to see some of you up there. If you are coming to the show, be prepared to have some fun. We've got a good night planned for you guys, and then I'll be there as well. Sup? How are we? Saying hello to some people in the chat before we get on the way. Ben is in the background tonight working away on our new tech system as well. He'll be able to bring up some tweets, some of your super chats on screen, comments and stuff like that as well. So do let us know if there's any topics you want to cover. Let's get Ollie. Let's start off with that one from Y Bold. Let's get Ollie. So there was a story linking Liverpool to Ollie Watkins, but we can't talk about that story so much because, well, it came from, you know where, the rag, the those that shall not be mentioned. But there is no truth to it from what I'm led to believe. The Echo believe the same thing, that Liverpool do not have an interest in trying to sign Ollie Watkins from Aston Villa. I don't believe to be the case, to be fair, because one, Villa are in the Champions League. Two, Villa have very wealthy owners. And, and I don't believe that we need Ollie Watkins. I wouldn't say no to Ollie Watkins, don't get me wrong, but I don't think we're going to see Liverpool splash that cash for Mr. Watkins, although the link, a very tentative one from a shitty outlet, is there, but again, I don't believe it. What else we got? Hello, Craig, and everyone said Harry James. Craig, please upload the dance intro as a clip. My children love it. Bill, I can send that, mate, no problem to you. I don't know if we'll upload it as a clip. I'm sure we can do something for it, though. It's going to be at the live show tomorrow night on the big screen before I come onto the stage, so anybody who's in Belfast will get to see it in an even bigger form. Right, Alisson staying, then bye-bye to Kelleher, said Frankie. That certainly seems to be the way. So let's go and talk about Ali for a little minute, because I'm glad to actually be able to have some good news on Alisson for a second. What's this? We have the files. Oh, there we go. Yes, we have the files. Ben, you can upload it to the Clips channel if you want. Maybe that will be a good place for people to be able to see. I think it's about, 2 minutes long? Something like that, mate. So, should be fine. The only problem will be the music. No, we own the copyright for that music, actually. So, yeah, it's all good. It's all good. Right. Fabrizio Romano has said that Liverpool and Alisson Becker's priority is to continue together. And this has been repeated by some other journalists today as well, which is really good news. Because that's all I wanted to hear, is that Ali wants to stay. He's the best goalkeeper in the world. I think we can all agree on that one. And it does look like it will be Xavi and Kelleher departing this summer. I don't know where for. But look, here's a question. I'm not going to ask Ben to put this as a poll. I'm going to just ask you guys to throw me some numbers into the chat. What's Xavi and Kelleher worth in this market? Compare that to the likes of Trafford from Burnley, who was being quoted at 20 million, and he hasn't got really the level of experience that Xavi and Kelleher has. Now, Trafford, of course, plays the season in the Premier League with Burnley, but he hasn't got European experience. He hasn't won a cup like Xavi and Kelleher has, in two cup finals. So I'm interested to see what you guys think his market value might be. 40, 30... Ugarte or Ederson. Oh, I've got some story for you on that, mate. Don't worry about it. I'll move on to talk about the defensive midfielder aspect in a second, and why, even more so, I believe one of those two could be on their way to Liverpool. So 30, 40, 35 million, 30 million, 25 to 30 million, 45 million. I personally think somewhere around the 25 million mark would be what I would expect Liverpool to ask for Xavi and Kelleher. Because what you don't want to do is price him out of a move. Because you've got to respect Kelleher in this scenario as well. He's been a very patient number 2. He's been, on very little money. Let's remember that. He's rumoured to be on about 10 grand a week at Liverpool, which is not a lot for a second choice goalkeeper when you compare Mr. Adrian San Miguel's on about 60, I think, grand a week. So I think you need to look after Kelleher and make sure that we don't necessarily price him out of a move as well. So I think 25 for me would be where I'm at. And I think that's good value for a buying club as well. Bruno doesn't strike me as a Liverpool player personality-wise. I'm going to move on to talk about Bruno in a couple of minutes, Daniel, and why he's been brought up tonight. Because, well, hang on with me for a couple of minutes, bro, and we'll get there. Is Koumas a right winger? No. But, again, we get stuck up sometimes. He plays on the left side for West Ham. He plays on the left side of their 3 attackers, with Jarrod Bowen playing off the right. But like most other players, he can play in alternative positions. There's nothing to say he has to play on the left-hand side. Of course, he could come across to the right-hand side. So don't get too stuck up on exactly where players play, because like we've said before, Mane came into Liverpool, started as a right winger, then Mo came in, Salah stayed on the right, and Mane shifted over to the left. Here we go. Fabrizio has lost my respect when he became a one-sided guy posting about other teams more than Liverpool, said Queen Nadra. Thank you, Queen Nadra, for your super chat. And I'm going to touch on that for a second, if I may. Well, I suppose I may, because you sent the super chat. Look, Romano is a gun for hire, in my opinion. And I don't know if you guys seen the stories. There's no doubt he gets information. Absolutely, 100%. But he gets the information that people want him to get. So my view of Fabrizio Romano is often that he is hired to put a certain narrative on a situation. I don't look at him as a journalist as such. I look at him as more of an influencer with a huge reach. I think he's one of, if not the most interacted with account on Twitter, or X as it's called these days. But you've also seen the videos and the emails coming out to say you basically can just pay him to put your view across. So if you're an agent or a club, let's say you want to reach out to Romano, based off these emails that we've seen, you can do that, put in what you want him to spout, pay the money, and he'll tweet the "here we go" message for you. So I look at him as that. Not a journalist, but an influencer. Because a journalist to me is, the likes of a Simon Hughes, Paul Joyce, do the actual journalism, writing of the articles, digging into these stories. Romano he's a very specific niche, but very successful, obviously, as well. But when it comes to respect, I don't know if he necessarily has something against Liverpool, more so that maybe Liverpool don't engage with Fabrizio Romano as much as other clubs or some other clubs' agents, as an example. Liverpool like to keep a lot of stuff quiet. We know that there's very few leaks come out of the club when Michael Edwards and stuff are around as well, so it could just be that. I think he's a Chelsea fan, based off previous posts as well, but again, I'm not going to say that interferes with his work or not. Stevie Boy said, Liverpool have been scouting Luis Guilherme, 40 million valuation, 18 years of age. This, Stevie Boy, is where I come in and PP all over your cornflakes, unfortunately, buddy, because we've pulled out of that race just today, according to the journalist. So, first of all, we had Mr. Romano post to say, understand that West Ham are in talks for Brazilian talent Luis Guilherme as negotiations advance for the 2006 born winger. Now, before we go any further, who feels old right now? 2006 born winger. I can't tell you how old that makes me feel, lads. I was born in the 80s, the start of the 80s, but somebody born in 2006, that makes me feel old. Package being discussed of around 30 million plus sell-on clause, waiting for next steps. West Ham United to decide soon on Fabrice Bruno after personal terms, new issues. So looks like Liverpool have pulled out of that race for Luis Guilherme, and there's been a couple of other posts suggesting exactly that Liverpool are now not in that race. We're also not in the race for Crescencio Somerville. It's believed that Liverpool have pulled away from that as well. So we'll talk about that in a couple of minutes' time. But yeah, we've got a lot of who we're not interested in. But again, we're struggling for the who are we interested in. And I said this to Connor. My big fear this summer is that we hold on to players and that gets somehow twisted into an accomplishment. Or a yay, a pat on the back, and attaboy, well done. We need to add players in. So let's start discussing who that might be. Hope Michael Edwards makes a buyback agreement with the club that buys Kelleher, said Frankie. I'm with you, bro. 100%. I would love a buyback option on Xavi and Kelleher. Now, look, I have to say, I'm biased in this conversation. He's Irish. Like Conor Bradley. I know he's from the north, before you come at me about Conor Bradley, but I still view them as Irish. And I'd love them both to be at the club. Having that Irish connection makes me feel a little bit closer to Liverpool as well. So yes, I'd love a buyback clause in Kelleher's contract. But I'm interested to see where he goes. The interest was there from Forest. And also Celtic. But can Celtic really afford what Liverpool would ask? I don't know. I doubt it, to be honest. Ederson is the news that I want to hear. Well, Stevie, you better like me, bro, I think. But before we get there, just a reminder, ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow, that's right, tomorrow, we are up in Belfast at Limelight 2. Love to see you guys there. You can still grab some tickets at Ticketmaster if you want to come and see us. It's an over 18 show. Doors open at 6:30. First act will be on stage about 7:15. Mr. Paddy Doyle will be up there rocking the place with your favourite Liverpool anthems. I'm going to come on then and do my first 45 minutes. Then we'll have another introduction or another break where Paddy will come on, play some more music. Then I'll finish up with myself and Connor for the last bit of the show as well. So really do hope to see you guys up in Belfast. And if you can't make Belfast, don't forget that we have Cardiff and Liverpool, and those shows are selling really, really well. So if you're thinking of coming to Cardiff or Liverpool, wouldn't hang about, because I think we could be heading for sellout, which would be amazing. So do get your tickets ASAP. They are just £15 each for Cardiff, £15 for Liverpool, and you can get them with a link at the top of the chat. Right, Queen Nadra says, do you think we get a surprise signing like Endo? No, I think I've convinced myself it's going to be Ederson. Now let me tell you why. So we know Liverpool have been linked with Ederson over the past few days, and some people coming in going, huh? It's not the Manchester City goalkeeper Ederson. It's the Ederson from Atalanta. And then you start to make the connections, right? Because Richard Hughes played in the Atalanta youth system when he moved to Italy. So for those of you that aren't aware, Richard Hughes obviously was born in Scotland. His father moved over with his family over to Milan area to work for Penguin Publishing when he was young. So he started playing football in the Atalanta Academy. So there's no doubt that Richard Hughes has a great set of connections in and around Italy, specifically in this neck of the woods. Now Liverpool, as the story goes, and as a couple of journalists have reported, Liverpool went over to look at Toyn Koopmeiners. That was the initial plan, to scout him, see what's gone on. But it looks like the player that actually really stood out to us there is Ederson. And as soon as I heard this, I started to look deeper and deeper into it because it got really excited. I love Ederson. I think he would be the perfect addition to our midfield. 24 years of age, Brazilian international, I believe, and valued at about £40-45 million. And I think he would be exceptional. Connor got a look at him up close in the Europa League final. Connor was there for the Leverkusen-Atalanta game. Again, Connor said even up close he looked fantastic. He's somebody that always stood out to me when I've watched Atalanta. And I think he's the perfect fit. But the story on the other side, specifically with the Echo on this one, the Echo seemed to have a bit of a hard-on for Bruno Guimaraes because they're continuously linking Liverpool with Bruno Guimaraes. And as we know, he does have that release clause of £100 million that has to or can be paid in 3 installments. So what do you guys think? Do you think there's any truth to the likes of the Bruno Guimaraes links, or do you think it's just some more clicky-baity type journalism? Because with all due respect to the Echo, they are the kings of clickbait. Some of the stuff that they've put up recently has been absolutely ludicrous, but for me, I love Ederson, and it strikes me more as a very, very achievable signing for Liverpool for a couple of reasons. Right in our sweet spot price-wise, about 40 million quid, 24 years of age, experience but not old, plenty of samples of watching him. Obviously won the Europa League this year with Atalanta, played against us as well, so we have seen him up close. And I hope that we pull the trigger and get this one done. I would love us to sign him. Imagine having him, Endo, Bajcetic, McAllister, Trent as options in that double pivot. Throw Gravenberch in that conversation as well. Yeah, I'd be all over it. We do like our Brazilians. Oh, we do indeed. We do indeed. We love a Brazilian. We love a Brazilian. Male, female, doesn't matter. We love a Brazilian. I don't know about the other type of Brazilian, though. Can't say that I've sampled that myself. But yes, we do. Here we go. Ben straight in with the poll. Would you take Bruno Guimaraes at Liverpool? Yay or nay? Let us know in the poll, and we'll leave that running for a while. I really don't know who else would sign for wingers other than Somerville. Well, the stories today suggest that Liverpool have moved away from Crescencio Somerville. I'm going to read a link out to you now. Uno momento. Where are we? Is this the one? Yes, so Daily Mirror have said Liverpool have decided not to make a move for Leeds United winger Crescencio Somerville, according to the Mirror. We did say to you guys yesterday that Chelsea were the favourites for a signature, but what this says to me is one thing, right? So if we don't move for Crescencio Somerville and Leeds or Chelsea go ahead from grand, but that still leaves Elise available and takes Chelsea out of the way for Elise. I know my producer, Mr. Benjamin, believes that United are nailed on for Elise, but United are crap and a mess and don't really have money by the looks of it. You know, they're already offering redundancies to non-playing staff. Jim Ratcliffe looks like he's gone into Manchester United and absolutely just trying to rinse every little pound note out of the club. And I don't know if they get it. If I was a United fan, lads, I'd be worried because he didn't exactly pull up trees at Nice when he went in. Nice fans have been quite unhappy at times, and the cost-cutting measures that he started at United, it's kind of making him look like a bit of a laughingstock at times. So yeah, for me, if Elise is available, I'd love to see us engaged with Crystal Palace, but I have to say I'm a little bit relieved about Somerville because I don't know enough about him to feel excited about it. So when I read a couple of articles today saying that Liverpool are no longer in the race, it relaxed me a little bit. Don't believe the Mirror. Alex, it's more than just the Mirror, mate. It's not just the Daily Mirror that are reporting about Liverpool pulling out of interest in Crescencio Somerville. What's this one? So, breaking news again from Romano. Chelsea are not planning to sign Victor Osimhen as things stand. So, I don't really think that relates to us, but there you go. Ratcliffe is a Glazer with a different name. No Champions League football or Champions League football. Exactly. Elise would be far better suited to come to Liverpool because he'll know one thing. If you come to Liverpool, at the very least, you have to battle it out with Mo for just one season because Mo's likely to depart after this season if he doesn't depart this summer. And let's be honest, he'd be idolised. I feel he could end up at United. They're certainly in the race, but they've got to free up some money first and foremost. We should sign Adam Wharton from Crystal Palace. Do you know who I've seen linked with him? Muprasa. And a lot of people in the chat have been talking to me about him in recent days, so I've tried to do a little bit of research on him. Bayern Munich are actually a team that have been linked with a move for him. Don't know if it's before Vincent Kompany arrived or if this was a long-held interest, but Bayern Munich's name have been linked with Wharton. So, again, doesn't mean it's happening, just giving you some context. Elise wants Champions League football. The champions! How sweet is that going to be hearing it next year again? And he'll get that at Liverpool. And, look, Elise'd be great. I do have concerns about his injury record, but he would be great. We need Bruno, Hincapié, Kudus and Isak. That would be... I mean, Sarah, that's a great group of players there, mate. But like, let's look at that from a point of view of FSG's wallet. Bruno, 100 mil. Hincapié, 60 mil. Kudus, 85 mil. So what's that? 245 before we've got the Isak. Probably another 100. It's a lot of money, and I don't see John W. Henry suddenly forgetting that he doesn't like to spend money. So, I mean, I'd take even two of them, to be honest with you, Sarah, and I'd be happy. Slot on 6 million a year. Sounds about right. Sounds about right. It looks like Mikel Arteta could be in for a pay rise of... Are you ready? Are you ready? Mikel Arteta could be about to sign a deal that nets him £400,000 per week, making him, along with Pep Guardiola, the highest paid managers, I believe, in the Prem now. 400 G's a week. Kloppo was on about 350 from what we can gather, and he won shit. So, But Craig, pound is being rinsed at the theatre of streams anyway. I'm here for it. Yes. I've not heard any talk of the money being spent on a roof, mate, or, on armbands for the season ticket holders or anything. I can't do a super chat, said Zumzi. It's no problem, mate. Just comment away. You don't need to spend money. We appreciate everyone that does send in a super chat and becomes members, but there is absolutely no expectation from us, bro, in any way, shape or form on that one. Why can't I? Don't know. But let me say this to you really quickly and really straight out, Zumzi. Little chat about you last night with the moderators, and they feel like you're being a little bit provocative. Is that the word I'm looking for? With vague posts, and when you're looking to draw attention to yourself and you're asked what your question is, you're answering with emojis and stuff. So consider this just a little warning. If you have something to say in relation to the stream or the players, have at it, we'll talk about it, but no more of your kind of weird posts, please, because the moderators were a little bit peeved that you weren't getting to the point. Craig, great to see you again. What's the news about Bruno, if you have time? I always have time for you, Lewis. Always have time, my friend. Right, let's talk Bruno Guimaraes. So, the story goes that he has the release clause. We know about that. But the Echo seem to have this mad hard-on for Liverpool and Bruno Guimaraes. Now, they write stories about him almost every day, and then they say, after they've written their story, likelihood, probably not. Now, it does look like Newcastle are looking to move on one big player. Whether that's Isak, whether that's Bruno Guimaraes or somebody else, we'll have to wait and see. Me and Connor spoke about it earlier on, and I said to him, would you take Bruno Guimaraes for 100 million quid? And he kind of answered me with my own answer. And if you remove the money aspect of it, because it's not my money, it's not your money, it kind of is, but you get my point. Like, it's not coming out of your bank account, my bank account. If we ignore the money, would I take Bruno Guimaraes in the team? Yes. But I can't say he'd be my first option. If you offered me Bruno Guimaraes for the £100 million or Ederson for the £40 million, my money's going for Ederson for the £40 million because I believe that there's value there. And it would annoy me. It would annoy me that we didn't sign Bruno Guimaraes from Lyon if we thought he was that good. Again, it would be another one of these that we allowed him to go elsewhere and then pay the premium, which again doesn't seem smart. Ethan said, Bruno and Isak staying at Newcastle 100%. Sky reporter Pete Graves and Craig Hope have said as nobody can afford because of FFP. So, I have to say, Craig Hope, brilliant. I've never met the man, but I always enjoy listening to him talking about everything Newcastle related. He's a font of knowledge for all things Newcastle, and somebody who I really enjoy watching when he's on Sky Sports, back pages and stuff. We can afford him. So we aren't one of those clubs that have to worry, Ethan, about FFP. We have to worry about JWH and not spending. But we are absolutely capable of it. We have a lot of wiggle room. As an example, 85% is the threshold that the Premier League and UEFA want clubs to not spend more than of their turnover on wages and stuff. Liverpool are only at about, I think, 63, 64%, something like that. So we do have wiggle room. Unlike me trying to fit through a slim door. There is a bit of wiggle room there. Any hints on plan for tomorrow night? Can't wait. Oh, did I not tell you, Aaron? Sorry, I cancelled the show, mate. Yeah, I cancelled the show a few minutes ago. No, only joking, bud. Any hints on the plan for tomorrow night? Absolutely, I can talk you through it. Paddy Doyle is going to be on stage playing all the Liverpool hits from 7:15. Actually, do you know what? I'll get you the schedule for tomorrow night right now, but hang on. Around the world, around the live show. Where are we? One sec. Where is the live show link? Have I deleted it already? Right, so what's going to happen is Paddy's going to come on at 7:15 till 8 o'clock. Then I'm going to come on from 8 to 8:45. Then Paddy's going to play another 15 minutes from 8:45 to 9, and then I come on from 9 to 10, and then we finish up, do a meet and greet, pictures, chat, all that kind of stuff. We're going to have a quiz tomorrow night as well, so somebody's going to be leaving with a prize. And I'm going to be the quiz master, and it's a load of fun. We're going to be talking about Jurgen Klopp's time at the club. We're going to be talking about the Salah, Trent and VVD contract situations. We're going to be having a conversation about Arne Slot, and we're going to be asking what is acceptable for next season. And anything else, a Q&A that you guys have any questions, that's what we'll cover tomorrow. What have we got? Has Slot been told how much he's got to spend this summer? No, I don't believe so, Stevie, because I don't believe that was ever the case for Liverpool. You know, when you heard Jurgen speak about transfers, he always said that it was more a case of you pitch a player to FSG that you want, and then they look into the value of the player, the availability of the player, the background checks on what he's like in different environments, yada, yada, yada. So I don't think it's like a meeting where they go every summer, here's 100 mil. I think it is on a case-by-case, player-by-player basis, from what I can gather. Is the Liverpool one an age limit one? No. Everybody's available for the Liverpool show. Under 18s are very welcome along to the Cardiff show and the Liverpool show. The venues are absolutely fine about under 18s. Somebody else asked me a question about wheelchair accessibility. All the shows are capable of accommodating anybody with a wheelchair or anything like that. We always make sure of these things when we're looking at venues as well. So just to confirm, tomorrow night, over 18s only, but Cardiff and Liverpool, all ages event. If you're lucky enough to still get the tickets. And that sounds so cool to say for once, because I was nervous booking these two shows, but I think, you know, the tickets are going really well, and the words sell and out could be happening without calling me a sellout. Right. Michael said, I can't wait to meet you tomorrow. Thank you, bro. I'm really excited about it. I'm driving straight up from Wexford, doing the show, turning around, driving straight back home. It's going to be like a long day, but I can't wait. Now, I'm going to fly through the news. So, who wants to laugh at Barcelona for a little minute? Because they've signed Hansi Flick as their new coach, and his backroom team coming in as well. But there's a problem, according to Marca, who say, at the moment, there is no space financially to register Hansi Flick and his backroom staff. Remember now, this is the gaffer. This is their new manager. And apparently they have no budget to pay him, or to get past their own La Liga internal FFP calculations. Wow. That's a whole level of wow. And so the likelihood of them being able to raid us for the likes of Lucho is probably slim to none unless they start selling a lot of players. I really want to smoke with you one day, Craig, the mighty Blippin' Reds. Where do you live, Alex? So we can see if we can make that happen, because you know me, mate, I do like a bit of green. So, back to the news. So we've done the Crescencio Somerville one. We've talked about Alisson Becker, who will be staying at Liverpool, or Liverpool and Alisson wants the project to continue, as Mr. Romano said. Here's an interesting one from Paul Gorst of The Echo. He said, Richard Hughes has already been sounding out the agents of several Liverpool players to introduce himself, break the ice and start building relationships, which again is good to hear, because I remember Jamie Carragher saying he interviewed Michael Edwards before, and he had loads of questions for Michael Edwards, but he said that the thing that stood out to him most, and again I'm paraphrasing here, is that Michael Edwards said it's all about relationships. When you're trying to bring in the likes of, I don't know, any signing, it's about the relationships you have with those agents and with those agencies. And Liverpool have certain agencies, like the Guest a Few agency is an example, the one run by George Mendes. We signed Fabinho, I think Diogo Jota, and a few other players from that agency. So I like it when I hear that Richard Hughes is introducing himself to agents and breaking the ice, because it's good news. Is there any Ugarte or Ederson news? Of course, Harry. Of course, bro. I got you. Don't worry. The big news that you all want to hear about, though, is Liverpool's interest in the Wellington Phoenix 21-year-old goalkeeper. Biggest transfer story of the year. So, look, on the Ugarte one, where we got? So, again, this comes from, I believe, France. LFC Transfer Room posted this up. Said PSG are looking to sell Defensive midfielder Manuel Ugarte, who hasn't played much this year. They're expecting to sell him for about £51 million, with Atletico Madrid listed as one of the main contenders, but they can only afford to bring him in on loan initially. So, Ben, if we can get a new poll up, mate, can you ask which one of these players should Liverpool sign? Ugarte, Ederson, or Bruno Guimaraes? If you can, Ben, please. I'll end that poll for you. So, Ugarte, Bruno Guimaraes, or Ederson? I'd be interested to see what the Anfield Agenda audience think. Alex, I really want to smoke which one. I've done that one. Good, thank you. Right, some more comments. Let's go. Somerville has the same agency as Jones and Gomez, so we have a good relationship with them, so I don't know why we are out of the race. It might just be that Liverpool have found a better alternative. You know, we will, in any position, have 3, 4, 5, 6 targets that we'll look at. Look at the manager situation as an example, right? I think this is a good example. Liverpool were linked with Ruben Amorim all the way through. So newspaper articles, journalists, Amorim, fan channels, podcasts, all of us. Amorim. Then all of a sudden, no Amorim. And here comes the new gaffer, Arne Slot. Announced, done deal. So just because Somerville has been the player in a wide position that's been spoken about the most, which he has, it doesn't always translate into us pulling the trigger on it. Michael Edwards is the master of, I don't want to say bait and switch, but he's the master of kind of, look over here, look over here at this shiny thing while he's over here working on something else. Poll is up. Who would you like Liverpool to sign, or which player should Liverpool sign? Which player should Liverpool sign? Ben's worse than me here. And to be fair, I'm terrible at typing. But which player should Liverpool sign? Ugarte, Ederson, or Bruno Guimaraes? Let's see what you guys think. I'm going to leave that up for a while. Would you take Koumas and Hincapié, but also take some Feyenoord people like Wiefer? The one that interests me from Feyenoord is, well, there's two, to be honest with you, mate. Geertruida, because of his versatility, but the goalkeeper would be an interesting one. But would he want to come in to play second fiddle to Alisson Becker? Probably not. Ben said he has mild dyslexia. Sorry. I know, Ben. I'm only winding up, bro. You know, it's okay. I don't mean to take a dig around Ben. I do apologise, mate. Sorry. I have mild sexy syndrome, you know. I get it. I understand the suffering, Ben. You know, I've got bins as well. I always get letters mixed up. It's funny about that, isn't it? You know, whenever he sends me messages telling me to piss off, he always seems to spell them right. Love you, Ben. Craig, delighted to know the best goalie in the world. Also wish Kelleher all the best for the future. I hope he put a buyback clause in his contract. Is there any truth to the Ollie Watkins links? No, there isn't. I struggle to bring up the story because we all know where it originates from. And if you don't know where it originates from, think rag, think liars, think scum, think poo-poo heads. And you probably guess where I'm coming from. So I don't want to really talk about that story. But even in the Echo, they were saying, to their information, to the best of their knowledge, zero interest in Ollie Watkins. But even if you look at it outside of our perspective on Ollie Watkins, Aston Villa are an extremely wealthy club. Their owners are mega rich. They've just qualified for the Champions League. Their manager's just signed a new 5-year contract. They're not going to start asset stripping now and getting rid of the likes of Ollie Watkins, one of their best players. They're going to want to keep him there. And look at it another way. Ollie Watkins has moved on to another level since working with Unai Emery, who's really brought the best out of him. So, there's a couple of reasons I don't think that would work. And that's before we even get into whatever the potential price tag might be. We're the CIA of transfers, totally covert, and that's why Fabrizio doesn't give us flowers. I love that about us, though. I do. I love that we, like, I could wake up tomorrow morning. Well, who am I kidding? I don't wake up in the morning. I could wake up tomorrow afternoon and see Liverpool have signed Bloomdy Flumdy Woo, and wouldn't surprise me. I'd be like, oh, of course we have. That's how Michael Edwards works. What do I think about Mbeumo? He's a very good player. I don't think he's an honest footballer. That's what I'd say about Bryan Mbeumo. Honest, hard-working footballer. But I don't think he'd be a good fit at Liverpool. I don't think he's ready for the jump up to be at a club the size of Liverpool personally. And we've all seen quite a bit of Mbeumo, particularly when Ivan Toney was suspended and wasn't available. He really did step up there for Brentford, but nah, not for me. Just a little bit. Good player, hard worker, but I don't think the calibre necessary. Looks like Luis Guilherme is going to West Ham. Yes, we spoke about that one earlier on. The Daily Mail also now say Luis Guilherme had been a target for Liverpool. However, they've now stepped back from the chase. That was from Simon Jones. And then you had Fabrizio Romano earlier on saying that West Ham are looking like they're going to push ahead for Luis Guilherme. Any Kvaratskhelia news? Nothing that I've seen new today, Colin. Nope, other than what we spoke about yesterday, mate. I've seen nothing new today whatsoever. Here's one for you, though. So, on this stream title tonight, you did see the stuff about Bruno. But if you read the whole stream title, you will also see we threw in a little bit about Saudi clubs looking to raid Liverpool. Well, this is the story that has been printed from the Mail and again on the Echo. It said, Saudi Pro League clubs have reportedly taken an interest in two Liverpool players, Luis Diaz and Joe Gomez. A report from the Daily Mail suggests there is a belief that the duo could leave Anfield this summer following Jurgen Klopp's exit. The Pro League is thought to be targeting younger talents rather than those over 30. Diaz has been linked with PSG despite still holding 3 years on his Liverpool deal, while Gomez, who is the longest serving squad member, having arrived in Charlton in 2015, has 2 years left on his deal. What do we think? We certainly know they've got the money, but can they tempt the likes of Diaz away? Surely not. Like, Joe Gomez, I know, loves playing for England. And if Joe Gomez, for example, goes over and joins the Saudi Pro League club, he ain't getting back in the England team. Let's be honest. I mean, no. Just no. Not going to happen. Diaz, it would only be about one thing. Money! Here comes the money! I'm getting fed up of listening to all these links with Diaz. Now, to be fair, they're not coming from his camp this time, but lots of chatter about Diaz. Surely there's no truth to it, though. I read a very interesting article on Mohamed Salah in The Athletic earlier on about how he makes his money, basically. Dude is, outside of Neymar, Messi and Ronaldo, I think one of the highest, if not the highest, other generating cash machine for football. I think he's got like 68 million Instagram followers, something like that. And they were saying that he is a huge global brand that makes a lot of money. So I'm really intrigued this summer. What I said at the very start of the stream, I'm going to say again. I don't want our owners, board, anyone to keep players and try and project that this is a win for the summer. We've gotten used to keeping players. We've gotten used to not losing players to clubs like Madrid, Barcelona. So that's not really going to work. We need to go out there and we need to make sure that we add to the squad. 100 million plus for Diaz if they are serious, said Shirley. I love the way we all just throw mad numbers out there if it's a Saudi Pro League club. Saudi Pro League club interested in Adrien San Miguel. Surely get 70 million from him. Surely we get 70 million. Diaz making 55 grand a week. For that price, you got to keep him. I agree. Look, I've no interest in selling Diaz, but you know what we can say is there's certainly, plenty of conjecture about Diaz. But it is silly season nonetheless, so take it with a pinch of salt. Just want to wish you good luck tomorrow night. I hope all goes well. You deserve the love and success that comes your way, said Adam. Thank you so much, Adam. Really appreciate you. Brian, LFC USA, told me to make sure that I say hello to everybody tomorrow at Belfast as well. He sent me a message last night, so I will make sure to do that. Where else are we at? Henderson has been frozen out, so games would be screwed. Yeah, Henderson, it didn't work out too well for Jordan Henderson, did it? Even with the Ajax move. But look, that's, I guess, a past chapter. Diaz doesn't want to play for money. I hope he doesn't, because I like Diaz. You know, he's a very... Like, I love the idea of having Diaz and Gakpo as options on the left-hand side. Really does excite me because they're two different types of wide left players, but both effective. The one, if you want to call it criticism, I'd have about Diaz is I'd like a bit more end product. This is a very difficult season to really speak about Luis Diaz because what the man went through with his family, as I've said many times, the fact he was even able to go out there on the pitch and play speaks to his mental strength. So I'm okay with this season's numbers and stuff for Diaz, but I would like to see him add a little bit more end product to his game in general. Because you know we can take a man on, you know we can cut inside, you know he's got energy for days, but he does need to add more numbers, in my opinion. Yusuf, thank you for your super chat, mate. Said, hi Craig, a perfect summer would be, I think, Ederson, Pacho, and Elise or Koumas as a forward. What about you? Stressed about Darwin and Diaz, though. Right, let's break that down. Ederson, Pacho, and Elise or Koumas. Yusuf, I gotta say, mate, that's a W for me. If we ended our summer and didn't lose anyone we didn't want to lose, and then brought in the three names you've written there, either or with Elise or Koumas, I dare say I'd be happy with that. Somewhat taking a bit of a leap of faith with Pacho because I don't know all that much about him. But yeah, I think I'd class that as a good steady window from Liverpool if that was the case. Kvaratskhelia and PSG agreed on transfer. Not surprised, as I've said before. They put in an offer that was discussed. I think it was about €80 million to Napoli based off what we'd seen coming out, I think, from his agent. And he does strike me as a PSG type of player. So yeah, not surprised if he ends up there. Of course, they have to replace Mbappe, so who knows? I never thought it was really that likely to Liverpool. There was a couple of reports coming out that we spoke about yesterday from Italy, but these things, it just felt like more players trying to get their trying to get their players moved from a club where he's unhappy, and Napoli is a bit of a shit show at the minute. Somerville will be better than Diaz. Well, it looks like we won't find out, because according to multiple papers today, we've dropped out of that race. Diaz on his day is the best dribbler in the Prem. Wow, that's a big shout, Levi. Big shout. Is he best dribbler in the Prem? Nah, I don't think so. Not even on his day. Like, what is his day? You know, again, we need to talk about consistency, but I'd say this: he's probably the most likely in our team to run at defenders and take them on from our forward line, except maybe Darwin. But Diaz has more skill in that level. Hincapié, Ederson, and a forward sell Jones and Salah, said Harry Klein. Did I watch Somerville on Sunday? He was awful. I did, but you can't judge a player based off one game. Yeah, look, I'm not surprised that Liverpool maybe have stepped away, because I still feel he's a gamble. You know, I don't look at Somerville and think necessarily he's just a diamond waiting to be unleashed into a big club. I'm unsure. I think there are better options. Craig, it's really funny to see the state of Man United. The club is in shambles. I know. And what gets me is, they've gone from, remember thinking that they were being bought by Qatar. I can't remember. Was it Jassim? Was that the name of the dude from Prince Jassim? I think from Qatar. So they went from thinking they're about to get never-ending supplies of money to then having Jim Ratcliffe come in, who was pitched as the saviour, only to find out that Jim Ratcliffe has a tighter wallet than John W. Henry, which takes a lot. And I think United fans are going to quickly have it dawn on them that this is probably even bigger, longer project than they believe. And it doesn't look like Ratcliffe's going to be splashing the cash anytime soon. Right, Conor Bradley. Let's talk a little bit about him, because it's been claimed by Team Talk that Conor Bradley is in line and ready to be offered a fresh new deal by Arne Slot and Liverpool. And look, just give him a 10-year contract as far as I'm concerned. I love Conor Bradley. So, happy days. If I'm not mistaken though, didn't he already sign a new contract last year? But I guess that probably wouldn't have taken into account his status as a first teamer now. So maybe that new deal is certainly deserved. Somerville equals Minamino, squad status terms. Again, don't know, but at least with Minamino we got him for what, 7.5 million? Something really low like that. Finty Tin, thank you, mate, for gifting an Anfield Agenda membership. Appreciate you. Should we bring in Geertruida from Feyenoord, said Alfie. I believe so, as a utility option at the back for small money. Now, I believe it even more if there was any truth to Gomez leaving Liverpool, because you're basically replacing Gomez with another Gomez-esque style utility player who can play right across the back line. It must be a difficult situation for Joe Gomez, though, because he's been at Liverpool since 2015. Amazingly, he's almost in line for a testimonial at this point. But he still hasn't... There was a period where he was a centre-back stalwart. But now, I don't know. It must be difficult because he got games last year, but he doesn't have a nailed-down position that we think is his. So I'm intrigued to see what happens with Joe. From a club perspective, keeping him around is a no-brainer, but you know the only problem would be if Joe wanted to move. Leon Bailey is the perfect replacement for Mo. No, he isn't, and let me tell you why. It's not to do with quality, it's injuries. Leon Bailey, to the best of my recollection, doesn't have the greatest track record for being able to stay fit. And if you're looking to replace Mohamed Salah, you're not going to replace him for numbers because he's an outlier in that regard. But you need somebody robust. You need somebody who's... Because let's be honest, Mo is almost always available. I know he's had an injury this season, but he's been bulletproof for quite a long time. So Bailey, no. I think that would be too much of a risk. And again, Villa player, and Villa aren't going to be looking to sell anyone they don't want to sell because they don't need the money. Thoughts on Sepp van den Berg getting a chance this season? So it was discussed yesterday, and there's varying reports. Some reports say Liverpool are going to sell him. Others say Arne Slot is going to give him a chance in pre-season and look at him. But the price tag mentioned for him was £20 million. There was a report from James Pearce that said Mainz, or reports in Germany, said that Liverpool have an option that would allow Mainz to buy him for, I want to say like 5 million quid, or maybe even less than that, 4.6 million. And Liverpool have denied that that clause exists, and 20 million is a price tag that's been thrown around. And look, I don't know what happens with Sepp van den Berg, but he can't do any more. He went out on loan to Mainz, had a great season, was highly thought of at Preston as well. I don't know. There's a load of players that I feel Liverpool have to make decisions on their long-term futures. Nat Phillips, of course, one. Kelleher, another. Some of the younger players like Reece Williams, let's be honest, he's not going to make it through to Liverpool at this point. So it's about finding clubs for these players and just, I guess, freeing up as much squad places and wages as possible, and then allow the next crop of young players to come through. I'd love to see a three at the back with Gomez, Kwanzaa and Virgil. It's not going to happen, unfortunately. Which was one of the reasons why Liverpool shied away from Amarim and went for Slot. One of a number of reasons, but it was the playing style. You know, Liverpool don't want to transition the whole club from top to bottom through to a 3-4-3 type team. So Colin Brooks said, Bowen really is worth a punt. 100%. I stand over what I've said for 18 months. In my opinion, Jarrod Bowen is the best option for the here and now to come in to try and replace Mo. Like right now, if Mo was gone tomorrow, drop Jarrod Bowen in that team and I think we'd get results. But if you're looking to the future and longevity, then I do think the likes of Elise would be a more sensible purchase. Villa had to sell before the end of June to balance the books because of FFP. But they've got Champions League football coming up as well, so they will have more wiggle room. Look, if Villa are looking to sell somebody, good. Let's see if Liverpool are interested, but you know there's always a premium when you're buying a Premier League to Premier League player, like, so let's wait and see. Craig, I think Joe got the England call-up because of his versatility. He's better as a fullback. No doubt he got it because of his versatility. Gareth Southgate is struggling with defensive players. Loads of injuries, and yeah, I mean, I think you're probably spot on with that, mate, to be fair. And that's what Joe gives you. Absolutely. I like Joe at left back, actually, more so than right back, because he likes to cut in and get a shot away. But then again, we have Robertson. Don't know why we didn't go in for Koumas. Baffles me as well, because we all remember the links when he was playing with Ajax and when he was in the AFCON. But yeah, Liverpool didn't do anything about it. Who do I think is better, Mainoo or Elliott? It's an unquantifiable question for me, because one's a number 10 and one is an 8, potentially a 6. So it's 6 of one, half dozen of the other. Look, what I'll say is they're both cracking players. I'm very happy to have Harvey Elliott, but I do rate Kobbie Mainoo highly. But yeah, like, who cares? One of them's ours, one of them's United, so let's get behind our guy. I want to just get through him. So, Antoine Griezmann for 15 million, anybody? According to Foot Mercado, Antoine Griezmann is available this summer for 15 million euro, about 12 million pound, because of a clause in his contract. Several European and American teams have positioned themselves. I hope we ain't one of them, because I don't want Antoine Griezmann, even at 12 million pound, anywhere near Liverpool. But I guess some of you guys might be interested from recent conversations. Yes, please. See, I knew if I looked down straight away, I'd see some people saying yes. I don't know, lads. I don't know about Griezmann. Griezmann, when he was at Atleti in the earlier days, when he was hungry, yes. Griezmann, after he did that whole, will I go to Barcelona, will I stay at Atleti, look at my documentary stuff, that annoyed me. And I would imagine that his wage demands would be rather high as well. So I would say no for me personally for Antoine Griezmann, but I knew there'd be some people in the chat who would be all over it. Right, we're nearly at 1,000 votes, by the way, for the who should Liverpool sign, Ugarte, Ederson or Bruno Guimaraes. We'll leave it running for a little bit longer, but so far it's a landslide pretty much. 33 years old and would want a load of moolah, said Goomy. Griezmann wouldn't suit Liverpool, said Ben Richardson. No to Griezmann, he's too old. Maybe if he was 5 years younger, said Mick. Just found out it's Gerrard's birthday today. Yes, happy birthday, Stephen Gerrard. And thanks for the memories. If Griezmann signs for us, he's banned from Fortnite. He's not going to give up that, so no. Huh? Make that make sense to me as somebody who doesn't game. We need Musiala. Look, I'd love Musiala. I would, but I can't see us getting him out of Bayern. I can't. As much as I'd love him, Bayern know what they have on their hands there, and he'd have to force his way out. So I don't see it happening. But Archie Gray, this is what I'm really interested to see what happens this summer. Because Leeds need to sell. They're going to sell Crescencio Somerville by the looks of it. But can somebody go in there and tempt them for Archie Gray, 17 years of age? A really, really prodigious young talent. Probably not ready to drop into our team here and now. But if you could get him for a decent fee and loan him back to Leeds for a year, it could be a really astute piece of business. But would you be able to take that much out of your budget? So Liverpool, as we know, we're kind of frugal. That's the word I'm going to use. Do we have 40 million quid to say, here, sign this player and then we'll hike him next year? That's a whole other year with that spot in the squad still empty and 40 million gone out. Craig, best man ever on YouTube. You make my day better. Thank you, police officer. And that's literally his name. Appreciate you, mate. Look, I've said this many times. You're sick of me saying it. whatever you guys feel and enjoy coming on here, it's the exact same for me coming back on. Yeah, I love it. It makes my day. I sit there every day waiting. Today there isn't really a huge amount of news. That's why we didn't put out a 5:30 video. But I wanted to make sure I did the stream because won't be live tomorrow. We'll be in Belfast. So the next live stream will be on Saturday for the Champions League final. And don't worry, by the way, we have an hour to go on tonight's stream. So don't be legging it anywhere. Pranav, welcome back, mate, to Anfield Agenda Ultras. Appreciate you. We could sell Curtis Jones and buy Gray, said Colin Brooks. That would be amazing. Yeah, sell Curtis Jones and buy him. Yep, that would be amazing, but I can't see it happening. We did that with Naby. We did do it with Naby, but it was a complicated deal that didn't necessarily see us handing over any money immediately. We just agreed a deal to bring him in the following season, but we didn't have to, as far as I'm aware, we didn't pony up any dough at the moment. We committed to it all right. But that was a complicated one because that depended on Leipzig's finishing position, depending on how much we paid for him. Marcus said to me, he's talking about the dances, celebrations, Fortnite dances, 442, even reference it. Yeah, I got that, Mark, but what I didn't get was why it would be a problem if he came to Liverpool. Like somebody in the chat said he'd have to drop the Fortnite stuff. Why? That's what I was confused about. So Liverpool Football Club, according to Anything Liverpool, is the most watched European football club globally across domestic league and cup fixtures. Nielsen Sports, who are the ones that basically monitor the audiences for television stations and stuff like that, confirmed that 415 million cumulative... Oh my god, I can't say this word. Cumulative... Oh, I'm not stopping. 415 million... Cumulative global TV audience from August 23rd to March 24. Liverpool is also the most watched club for home fixtures. There you go. So put that in your pipe and smoke at Manchester City. Liz said, "You're a good Clint. Have wonderful show and enjoy the moment." Thank you, Liz. And that's what I've done, by the way, these days. I've edited my brain that instead of saying my favourite C word, I say Clint instead. Because if you take L and I from the word Clint and just push them together, it gives you my word. Do you think if either of Jones or Kwanzaa will make the final 26 member of the England squad? Maybe Kwanzaa because of the defensive problems. Jones, I don't see it. I think Jones will probably get cut. But he does have a lot of headaches around defence with loads of injuries, Southgate. So I guess Kwanzaa could be in with a shout. Personally, I'm selfish on this. You know, I want our players relaxed and not playing. So I know it's weird to say this, but like I'm happier when they're not in the squads. What's the source for the Bruno rumours? There were a few of them, Samurai, but the one I keep going back to is the Echo, who keep running stories on Liverpool's interest in Bruno Guimaraes. Let's wait and see. I don't believe it. Like, even though the release clause is payable in 3 installments, still 100 million just sounds mental. But we do need that one guy to be in there. Like, looking around, like Manchester City have Rodri, Arsenal have gone in and brought Rice in there as well. Like that one big signing that will anchor your midfield would be great. I just like Ederson. And on that, let's see how the poll results went. So we asked you guys, which player should Liverpool sign? Manuel Ugarte got 21%, Bruno Guimaraes 27%, but the clear winner with 52% of your vote was Mr. Ederson from Atalanta, and I love you all for that because that's my option as well. And I think with Richard Hughes' contacts, this could be a serious contender. As I said, he played for Atalanta as a youth player himself. He lived over in around the Milan-Bergamo area with his parents when he was younger. So, and it will certainly have an extensive collection of sources or people he could inquire about. So the story goes, we went over to look at Coop Miners, and Ederson is the one that turned our heads, and I love that idea because he's brilliant. Would you take Eze and Elise if we sell Salah and Diaz? Probably yes, but I don't know if... Like, Palace aren't going to want to be asset stripped. You know, Glasner's got in there, shown he can do really well. And yes, they're probably a selling club. They'll admit that themselves, but to a certain degree. Like, we've seen players like Wharton, Mark Gay, Eze, Elise, all linked with moves away from Crystal Palace. They're not going to want to just completely strip down their team. They may sell one or two of them. Elise has that 60 million release clause according to what the newspapers have said. So, unsure of the situation with the likes of Wharton, Eze, and who's the other player I just mentioned? I can't even remember who I just mentioned. Wharton, Eze, Elise, and who was the other one I mentioned? I don't know. Can't remember. Newcastle fans love Bruno. Yeah, they do. But for a bio clause that's supposed to be secret, there's been a lot of people who suddenly know about Bruno Guimaraes' release clause, and that, to me, suggests that Newcastle want people to know about it, or at least his agent want people to know about it. Craig, you're overlooking Varela. We've been linked, yeah. We said this the other day. I think ourselves and Bayern Munich, if my memory's right, have been linked with Porto's Alan Varela. But for me, I think we would have done that deal last year, because we were linked with him again last year and didn't pull the trigger. And I just think Ederson is the best value, personally. But look, if Varela comes in, as long as it's the one that the club want, I'm happy. I like the club to get their first target, so I'm happy if it's the one that they want. But for me, it's Ederson. And for the chat as well, I think it's Ederson. Craig, Annalise here, big fan of the channel, love your streams. Thank you. Is this Annalise that I used to interact with all the time on Twitter? Or a different one? But either way, Annalise, thank you. Lovely to see you in, and I hope you're well. 610 likes. Really? That's not what I'm seeing. I'm seeing 405. But if they do, hit the like button if you haven't done so. Right, more stories to get through. What's this one? Done that one. Done that one. Okay, we haven't spoken about this one yet, and this is a bit of a mad one. Liverpool have made inquiries about Wellington Phoenix's 21-year-old goalkeeper, Alex Paulson. Now, Wellington Phoenix, I think, currently sitting second in the Australian League, if my memory's right. And I have no idea what to make of this, because obviously he'd be coming in to replace Kelleher. But have we any Aussies in the chat that can help us out with this one? Is he any use? Alex Paulson, Wellington Phoenix, 21-year-old goalkeeper. I mean, surely I'm not going to get non-Australians saying, oh yeah, I know him. Unless maybe he's another Football Manager hero or something. But Sky Sports have reported it. I have no idea on that one. He's a good keeper. I've seen him live, said Danuka. There you go. And we always have some Aussies in the chat who can help me out with stuff like this. Big up, Craig. I'm a fan of your show. You talk the talk. Thank you. Hopefully I can walk the walk as well, dude. But look, thank you so much for all of your kind words. It really helps me, especially with tomorrow coming up. Because here, look, I'm going to tell you this. I'm shitting myself. I've terrible stage fright. And tomorrow is Belfast. And I'm both really excited, mate, and really nervous. But thank you. More kind words like that definitely helps me build up the confidence, because I go out there on stage and I look around and I think, oh my God, 60, 70, 80, 100 people or whatever are here to judge me. But they're not. They're here because they like you. And that's what I need to remember. Noah said 1,000 likes and he'll get an Arnie haircut. Now, Noah, we need proof of this Arnie haircut. So let's make Noah get a haircut. Hit that like button. What are your opinions on Dewsbury Hall? 26 goals and assists. As soon as you say Dewsbury Hall, my mind goes back to Chris. Remember Chris? They used to be on the channel. Chris Stonage now works with the World Snooker Tour as their media officer. He really didn't want Liverpool signed in Dewsbury Hall back in the day. Bit of a sort of announcement. You know the way I've been talking about we're going to be launching a podcast after the Euros? Did I tell you who the co-host is likely going to be? We're still chatting at the minute, but we're seeing if we can make it work. I'm hoping that I'll be joined by Mr. Jack Gill to be my co-host on the Anfield Agenda podcast that is going to be coming up and launching over the summer. We're still just trying to figure out availability for Jack and a day that works, but it'd be great to have Jack back involved, even if it is just on the audio podcast. I'm excited because that's where my journey into creating content started, was with podcasts. Chris Tat Music said, "Man, you'll smash it. Best of luck." Thank you. Appreciate you. Thoughts on Wiefer and Houlden if we can't get Ederson? So Houlden is somebody who we were linked to when the stories were going around about us being looking to bring in Ruben Amorim, right? So I know a little bit about him. Wiefer at Feyenoord, I haven't watched, so I truly have no idea if he's good enough or not. Ederson, look, of those two, I'd have to say Houlden just because I've watched more of him. But I'm all in on Ederson at this point. So yeah, for me, it's Ederson. But there are some very credible names like Varela, as was mentioned earlier on. Houlden, Wiefer. There are some decent quality number sixes or defensively minded midfielders out there for a much better sum than the likes of Bruno Guimaraes. Sending love and strength. You've got this, said Liz. Thank you, Liz. You'll be cool as a cucumber, Craig. Well, do you know what? One thing I can promise you is, anybody want to guess what type of attire I'll be wearing tomorrow? That's right. Adidas from head to toe. Everyone in Belfast is vocal, so no need to have stage fright. The people will settle your nerves very quickly. Well, that's why I'm putting the musical act on first, Tanya, so I can step back and watch Paddy go out there and knock it out of the park, and then I can come on and take all of his applause. So yeah, that's the plan. What happened with Andre? It's funny you mentioned that. Oh, look, his name is Clint Greasewood. Love it, mate. I did a little bit of research on Andre Trinidad last night. Still, obviously, a Fluminense. Wasn't in their squad last night, so I'm assuming he's injured or something like that, but still there, a Fluminense. No new interest from us, from what I can gather. No reports lately, and I did do a dive into some Google searches to see when the last links were there. It's been a while, but he is still a Fluminense. Nike kicks. No. I've got a pair of brand new Adidas kicks for tomorrow, Liz, ready to go. So Adidas hoodie or t-shirt, pair of cargo pants, and a pair of Adidas shoes. That's the Craig look for tomorrow. Thoughts on Salah, Mane, Firmino? Unpopular opinion, but Mane was better than Salah at times. Missed the clinical. Nunez gets sold if no improvement. So, deep breath. Mane, Salah, Firmino. I can look. How do I say this? I preferred watching Mane over Salah because I've never been able to fully take to Mo. I've been honest about this for ages, but you can't argue who the better signing was. The better signing was Mohamed Salah. He's done the numbers. He had the consistency. Mane was magic at times as well, but you know, even though I will be honest and say Mo has not been somebody I've been able to bond with emotionally because he's too perfect. I'm drawn to people with a flawed personality type, likes of a Ronnie O'Sullivan, a Bobby Firmino. I'm not the clean cut, perfect human type of supporter. But in that scenario, I have to say Salah was the better signing over Mane. But both were brilliant. That forward line, those three were incredible to watch. PC Drat said, break a leg tomorrow night. Wish I could be there. Thank you, mate. And anybody who still wants to come, remember, tickets are still on sale. Just go on to Ticketmaster. I think you can pay at the door as well, if I'm not mistaken. I'm almost certain you can still pay at the door tomorrow night. But yeah, we will be ready to go in Belfast at Limelight from doors open at 6:30. And remember, that's our third last ever show So Belfast, when that's chalked off, there's 2 more to go, and then we're done. No more live shows ever. Unless somebody wants to, give me Wembley Stadium or something. God, imagine the nerves. Jeez, I wouldn't even walk out on stage. When are you going to get a P.O. box? I really want you to send some spicy Mexican snacks. Right. This is where... Oh, I'm allowed to read you out the letter. Conor never sent it to me though, so I need to get the letter. I asked Conor earlier on, could I read you guys out the letter that we sent Liverpool Football Club? Because, I like to be honest with my community, and Conor said, yep, read away. So I'm going to find that letter in a minute and read it to you, so don't go anywhere. And when am I getting the P.O. box? Whenever we decide to start the Craig Reviews type channel. At the moment, we're in discussions over what to do with Top of the League. We're trying to set up the podcast to have that ready for the summer. And we're still finishing off the last few bits of the tech build that we invested in. So, busy behind the scenes. What else we got? Good luck with the show, Captain Craig. Thank you, Coach Bill. Let me just find this letter. Sorry. I don't know where... Oh, where can I find it best? Hang on. I might have to read it off my phone, so bear with me. Around the world. Right. Sorry, folks. Bear with me. I'm just getting to the letter because I have to find it one particular place. Right. Here we go. So, I'm going to have a mouthful of water and then I'm going to read through this letter to you. Hi Craig, I'm from Belfast and wish you the best of luck. Thank you so much, Kaylin. I really appreciate your support, mate. And I'm looking forward to being up in Belfast. Right. So, this is the letter that we wrote to reach out to Liverpool Football Club. Conor drafted it, and I just want to be honest again with our community to show you that we are trying to make the right steps, and, I don't know what else to say about it. Just this is us being honest. So, going to read this out to you. This is the letter that we sent to Liverpool Football Club recently on behalf of our entire community, and I want to see what you guys think about it. I'm sure this is going to be clipped up and I'm going to be laughed at on social media, but I don't care. I'm only interested in you guys and our community, so here we go. Dear Liverpool Football Club, my name is Conor Crosby and I'm writing to you from Anfield Agenda, one of the largest independent Liverpool platforms globally. With a massive worldwide audience of dedicated Liverpool fans, we feel it is important to address a concern that we have. Despite our significant reach and positive impact on the Liverpool FC fan base, we have consistently been overlooked for media engagement such as the recent Jurgen Klopp interviews, new kits being sent for review before launches, and interviews with players and many more. We have found our attempts at communication largely ignored, with a recent request for entry to the Jurgen Klopp event at the M&S Bank Arena overlooked without response. This persistent disregard has left not only our team but also our audience feeling disenfranchised from the club that we hold dear. Our host Craig has shared his personal journey on our platform, including his challenging upbringing, and has persistently encouraged others to open up about their mental health struggles. His story has resonated with many fans, fostering a sense of community and support that is invaluable. In addition to our media efforts, we have actively supported numerous Liverpool community charities. We have frequently supported food banks in Liverpool City, provided Liverpool shirts to fans who otherwise couldn't afford them, promoted GoFundMe campaigns for Liverpool fans in need, and many more. These initiatives are extremely important to us and have always underscored our commitment to adding positivity to the Liverpool fan community. We are reaching out not out of anger, but from a place of disappointment and genuine concern. We believe that greater engagement with Anfield Agenda could further unite and uplift the Liverpool FC community, offering a platform where the club can connect directly with its passionate and diverse fan base. We kindly ask for a reconsideration of our role within the Liverpool FC media landscape. We are eager to collaborate and continue positively ensuring that all Liverpool fans feel heard and valued. Thank you for taking the time to read this email. We look forward to your response and hope for a more inclusive and collaborative relationship moving forward. Best regards, Conor Crosby. So that was the letter that we sent to Liverpool. And I'm really proud of Conor for the way he drafted it. And I hope we eventually get a response from the club, because that is what we want to do. We want to help grow the Liverpool family, bring them together and spread some positivity and inclusiveness. So, you know, I hope we hear back, because I know we all have a joke and a giggle and I laugh and I shout and I scream. But, you know, we're intelligent people who know what we're at as well. And we do want a better relationship with the club. And I understand that clubs often view fan channels with suspicion. Is that the right word? But we want to speak our mind, yes, and we will. But we do also want to grow and help the Liverpool community, because we love the club. That's all I really have to say on it. We don't like to hide anything. We are open and honest with our community. And most people wouldn't tell you they sent that letter, but I don't mind the ridicule if it comes on social media, because it's coming from a genuine place. Isn't Diaz the most entertaining player to watch in the squad, but he's so unlucky with his finishing? Is it unlucky? I mean, he's really entertaining to watch. I love him, but I'm not sure if I'd say he's unlucky with his finishing. I think sometimes he just over-eggs it a little bit and takes a little bit too much out of it, takes one or two steps too far and delays his strike. If England can sell Wembley, you can at least be entertaining. Cool. Thanks. Top letter from a top guy. Fingers crossed you hear back from them. Thank you, Peter, but I didn't write that letter. I couldn't have drafted that letter as well as Conor did. I'm just not that good with grammar and letter writing, whereas Conor's, as you can see, a highly intelligent fella. Breaking: Man City want to sign Rodrigo. Wouldn't surprise me in the slightest, to be fair. Great letter. I wouldn't mind a free shirt for my boys. Thanks. Free shirt? Oh, you mean from us or from Nike? We are going to start getting merchandise ready. We're probably going to build a new website as well. That's another thing we're working on in the background. Craig, I love your work. It's 2 a.m. in India, but your streams are too good to miss. That is so awesome and kind of you. Thank you. Right, let's recap, because there's one thing I haven't spoken about yet either, and that's Ibrahima Konate. But this is possibly good news, so you don't need to be concerned about this story. Liverpool have been discussing a contract extension with Ibrahima Konate for several months. Konate feels particularly good at Liverpool, and that comes from L'Equipe. So, good news. Look, I want more from Konate this season. I want more consistency, but we know Ibu on his day, with confidence and no injury, can be an incredible, incredible centre-back. Really dominant, really physical, really commanding. Certain things he does need to improve upon, but I hope that I'm not surprised he feels settled, because he always does look like he enjoys being at the club. And still to this day, his announcement video is still my favourite one ever from any player that's come to Liverpool. So yeah, good news if Liverpool are negotiating a new deal with him, and I hope we hear news on that soon. Rodrigo to City would, where's this one, be reminiscent of Sanchez moving to Arsenal. I think City are probably going to move on one or two players this summer. Grealish could be one of them if they get the right offer that comes in. I would imagine that Real Madrid won't make it easy because of the whole Barcelona connection with Guardiola and that, but we certainly know that they have the money to be able to buy Rodrigo, but let's wait and see. It's mad that there's loads of stories now coming out about Rodrigo, even though there's been a few pieces to suggest he wants to stay at Madrid as well. I feel like Madrid are the ones that are maybe putting this about, that he's available. All the best for the show tomorrow night. You'll be great, pal. Thank you, Paul. Appreciate it. Currently 4 a.m. here in Vietnam. Once again, I'm going to fall asleep to you, Craig. Thanks for the background noise. Love the streams. Thank you for sticking with us, mate. Thank you for watching. And yeah, thank you. That's all I got to say on that one. Just thank you. Craig, t-shirt idea. Picture of Arne Slot with Anfield Agenda tattooed on his arm. I think we'd be done for copyright infringement, to be honest, if we did that. So we do have some ideas, like for t-shirts. Shenanigans, as an example. No Newlawn, no party. And And there's a few other ones as well that we've got ideas for. Craig, where do I buy the Adidas gear? Where do I buy it from? Wherever it's the cheapest. You know, sometimes Sports Direct. For instance, today I went down. I say I didn't go outside. My wife was down Sports Direct and picked me up a new Adidas t-shirt today. Sometimes I get them from the Adidas website if there's a sale on. Just like yourselves and anybody else, wherever I can get the best value for my money. Fabio Carvalho or Elliott? I think somebody asked me this yesterday. The answer for me is Harvey Elliott, but I think Carvalho has the potential higher ceiling. It's just, will he ever get there? But I wouldn't give up Harvey Elliott for anyone. I love Harvey Elliott. Will I be streaming Saturday night? Yes, we're doing the Champions League final on Saturday night. We are going to be starting from 7:30. So yeah, we will be live on Saturday. What's this? Craig, I was the kid who sent the email a few days ago signed Jake. I was just wondering, is there any news on Trent or Virgil's contracts? No, there isn't that I've seen. No, unfortunately not, mate. We've heard Verge speak about it and the players seem quite relaxed about it, but no, I've not heard anything new, which doesn't really tell us anything one way or the other at the moment, unfortunately, Jake. How are you, man? Love your tattoos. Or no, you said videos. What did I say? How did I get the word tattoos out of that? Oh, lads, I'm losing it. Thank you, Seamus. Appreciate you, by the way, mate. How the LFC stores in Belfast, Liverpool going in November? So how are they? There is one in the ILAC Centre in Dublin City Centre. I think there's another one in Liverpool in Dundrum. I can't remember where the second one is. Belfast, I actually don't know. Maybe Victoria Square Shopping Centre, perhaps. But there are definitely Liverpool shops, so you won't be short of opportunities to buy the stuff. Craig, you have lost the plot. I mean, it doesn't surprise me, Mr. Roboticus, mate. It doesn't surprise me at all. My wife probably would have agreed with that a long time ago. Right, I'm going to fly through all the stories now from start to finish, and for anyone who's come in late, and I'm going to try and keep you as up to date as I can. Liverpool have decided not to make a move for Leeds United winger Crescencio Somerville, according to the Mirror. The next story comes from Mr. Fabrizio Romano, who said, Alisson and Liverpool's priority is to continue to work together. Next story of the day came from Mr. Paul Gorst of The Echo, who said, Richard Hughes has already been sounding out the agents of several players within the Liverpool squad to introduce himself, break the ice and start relationships. Next one up was L'Equipe, where we spoke about the fact that Liverpool have been discussing a contract extension for Ibrahima Konate for several months. Konate feels particularly good and happy at Liverpool. Then we discussed the really, really crazy link that's come out today. Crazy because it's just come so far out of left field. Liverpool have made inquiries about Wellington Phoenix's 21-year-old goalkeeper, Alex Paulson, and this is credited to Sky Sports. Another story from Fabrizio Romano said, understand West Ham are in talks for Brazilian talent Luis Guilherme as negotiations advance. Package being discussed is around 30 million fee plus sell-on clause, waiting for the next steps. Then we had the story coming from Marca that at the moment there is no space financially to register Hansi Flick and his staff at Barcelona. Wow. You bring in a new manager and their staff and you don't even have the money yet in your budget to register them. That's not a good look. Simon Jones from the Mailer said Luis Diaz and Joe Gomez have emerged as targets for Saudi Arabian teams with a belief that both players are open to leaving. So, what do you think on that? Before I move on to finish the rest of the stories, you guys get typing. What do you think? Do you think that Diaz and Joe Gomez are open to moving to Saudi? Because I'd be very surprised. But this piece from the Mail and Simon Jones says that the belief from the Saudi Arabian side is that they're both open for it. PSG are looking to sell defensive midfielder Manuel Ugarte, who hasn't played as much this year. They're expecting to sell him for £51 million. Atletico Madrid are one of the main contenders, but they can only afford to bring him in on loan initially. Another story. Then there was confirmation again that Luis Guilherme had been a target for Liverpool. However, they have now stepped back from the chase, and that is again coming from the Mail. Then there was that crazy story about Antoine Griezmann being available for €15 million this summer because of a clause in his contract. And then again, another story, this time in the Echo, that said, and I don't like the way they've worded this, Diaz and Gomez hunted by Saudi clubs. Now, they've put hunted in quotation marks, meaning obviously that's the phrase that's been used by the original story. They say Saudi Pro League clubs have reportedly taken an interest to Liverpool's 27-year-olds Luis Diaz and Joe Gomez. So again, a similar story there. Then there was the last bit of news was Conor Bradley in line for a new contract according to Team Talk. And again, I think we'll all agree, well deserved. No, not Joe. Please no. No chance of Jamie Anderson. No, I don't think so. Do you? I'd be very surprised if Gomez was open to it. Very surprised. Especially with him wanting to be involved with the English national team. Diaz, I'd hope there's nothing to it, but I don't know. The Diaz links are there for a move away. PSG had been linked, Barca had been linked, and now Saudi are linked, but it is all just media talk at the minute, so we know that they've got the money to make it happen, but I find it hard to believe that anybody who's serious about their career right now would move to Saudi, because the league is not a patch on any of the top European leagues. Who is your go-to centre-back? Antonio Silva, probably, from Benfica, if I had a choice. I do like Mark Gay from Crystal Palace, as I've said before. You've got the homegrown side there as well. Levi Colwill is a name that's still being mentioned and linked, even though Chelsea are not really wanting to sell him. Colwill hasn't really been satisfied, according to a lot in the media, about the opportunities he's had this season. He did sign a new contract last year. Haven't seen anything on Inacio or Diamonde from Sporting in a little while as well. That seems to have gone quiet. What other ones has there been that we've discussed? Pacho was mentioned quite a bit. We talked about him. We talked about Piero and Capie as well. Both seemingly available. Looks like Pacho for about 40 million, and Hincapié, the story was that if Jonathan Tah signed the new contract at Leverkusen, they'd be open to selling him, and I think the price was about 60 mil. So there we go. That's all the recaps for centre-backs that I can think of. Isn't Colwill's whole family Liverpool fans? I'm not sure. Evie, mate, haven't got a clue. Signed and sealed contracts then, I believe, said Mark. I mean, I get it. I don't blame you, Mark, but how do I say this? Here's how I stand about transfer season, Mark. I love these stories. I love bringing them to the channel, discussing them, seeing what the vibe from people is like. I treat them with, a pinch of salt a lot of the time. But I do love this time of the year, mate. I can't lie, because it fills me full of hope and optimism. And I love a crazy transfer that comes out of nowhere. Like, remember the Fabinho one? All of a sudden you see him on a plane with his missus and he's coming to Liverpool from Monaco. Or the Diogo Jota one that kind of came out really quickly. So I do love this time of the year. I love it until we get disappointed. And then it becomes really frustrating. But last summer's window I was quite happy with overall. Bit rushed at the end, bringing in Gravenberch from Ajax. But again, I think I like that signing. This season, if I could pick three positions, it's centre-back, a holding or defensively minded midfielder, and some type of an attacker. Don't know whether it's a wide player or a 10 or a striker. Vincent Kompany is Bayern Munich manager. When did that happen? Today. How mad is it? 3-year contract as well for Vincent Kompany. What do you make of Vincent Kompany going to Bayern Munich? It's a risk, but they had to get somebody in because it was starting to look really embarrassing for Bayern Munich. You know, they've been turned down left, right and centre. Amazingly, they somehow managed to get turned down by the coach that they already had at the club. Because remember, it was bye-bye Thomas Tuchel, and then no Xabi Alonso, no other managerial targets, and then all of a sudden it's let's get desperate, and then Vincent Kompany comes out of nowhere. It's mad. It's either going to be genius or lunacy. Let's wait and see. I mean, I guess you could argue the same about Arne Slot and Liverpool. Is it going to be genius or is it going to be lunacy? I hope it's genius. I believe it'll be genius, but I'm also happy that we now have our gaffer, because there's a load of clubs that need to go and find somebody. And if I was a Chelsea fan and I was hearing that they're about to give Maresca a 5-year deal after sacking Pochettino, I'd be concerned. If I was a United fan, this is how I'd be viewing things. They're only going to keep Ten Lasso if they can't find a replacement that's better. And if you can't find better than Ten Lasso, you're in trouble. I also believe that Thomas Tuchel is the leading contender for the United job. McKenna has turned down Chelsea. Today signed a new 4-year contract with Ipswich. De Zerbi, who knows where he ends up at this point. You've also got Pochettino on the market. There's talk of Graham Potter maybe going back to Brighton. So I'm just happy that we know who our coach is and we can push ahead from here. Whoever gets Fofana from Monaco will get a bargain. 25 million for a French international, good, solid player and age. Ash, I remember I read a story today, mate, somewhere linking somebody with him, and I don't know who it was. It wasn't us anyway, but I did read something about him today. I just can't remember where it was. Slot wasn't relegated the season before we signed him, though. Yes, true. Absolutely. And I love how salty Ten Hag is getting about the fact that Arne Slot's getting praised coming into Liverpool. And he's like, but PSV Eindhoven were the best team. Shut up, Eric. Shut up. Lampard to Burnley. Yes, that's been talked about as well. I mean, haven't Burnley suffered enough without, going from Vincent Kompany, who at least had a plan, to Frankie Lampard, who, I don't know, has vibes? Right, what's the poll that Ben put up? I never actually looked at it. Do you believe Luis Diaz and Joe Gomez are open to moving to Saudi? That's the poll that's up at the minute. And most of you are saying no, which I believe is the correct answer. Do you know when the fixture list is released? Mark? I know Mark knows, because he told me the other day. I just don't know off the top of my head. I want to say... No, I don't want to say that. I'm going to wait if somebody gives me the exact date. I thought they signed Craig Bellamy. I think Bellamy is in interim charge, from what I can gather. But I do believe it's not fully agreed. I think he's just the interim head coach till they conduct a search. 18th of June. There you go. That's when the fixtures are released. 18th of June. Craig, did you hear about Xavi at Barca? Was leaving, then encouraged to stay, then sacked. Look, I'm a Barcelona fan. Outside of Liverpool, I've always been honest to you guys, said the only other club I really claim to give a shit about is Barca. It's nowhere near my level of love as I have for Liverpool, of course, but in recent years, my fondness for Barcelona has been chipped away by their behaviour, by their treatment of legends like Xavi and the treatment of some of the players that they've had and the way they've tried to force them out of the club. I didn't like how they handled Ousmane Dembele, and I haven't liked how they've dealt with a lot of players. And that's before you get into the financial shenanigans and lever pulling. So for me, to see what they did to Xavi Hernandez is nothing short of a disgrace. The man came in, gave his heart and soul for the club, had mixed fortunes because of the restricted budget and stuff that he had as well. Got them a second place finish. Probably should have been further in the Champions League. They probably should have held out and got that result to put them through. But to hear him... Did you see the last game when the ref blew the whistle against Sevilla? He just walked straight down the tunnel. Didn't even do anything about, going around last game. They were away, but didn't do anything. Just shook hands down the tunnel, off he went. And Quique Sanchez-Flores, I believe it was as well, his opposition manager, said that how they treat their legends is just not right. it seems too ruthless. And Xavi Hernandez is a Barcelona legend. But I can't lie, the way that they've treated these people over the years has kind of taken some of the shine off it for me. If Liverpool had treated players the way Barca have treated players, I'd be devastated. And that's before you look into all the stuff about the accusations about Barcelona paying some companies to undermine some players on social media as well. Like, there's so many crazy stories out there that it's just not a good look for a club like Barca. Hope all is good. Do you think Mathieu Soulé from Juve could be one we look at for a Salah understudy? Always nervous, mate, when we're linked to anybody or we sign anybody from Italy or from the Italian league. I've never heard of the guy you're on about, or at least if I've heard of him, I don't remember much about him, so I can't answer that one, mate, sorry. Right, 25 minutes left to go. Let's do a Q&A for the last 25 minutes. Anything I'm going to close down my notes. Hang on. I'm going to ignore my notes and I'm just going to focus on you guys. So 25 minutes, hit me with any questions that you guys have on any subject and I'll do my best to answer them. Quick reminder, Belfast tomorrow night, so I won't be live. We're going to be up in Belfast for a live show, so we won't be on here tomorrow night. We'll be back at 7:30 on Saturday for the Champions League final watch along. And also, if you want to come to Belfast or Cardiff or Liverpool, make sure you get your tickets soon because they're moving. The good thing about Liverpool is we have scope to move up. So the venue that we're doing in Liverpool have 4 theatres, ranging from 550 seats down to about 80 seats, I think. So we can move up and be accommodated in Liverpool. Cardiff, we are limited to the 180 seat arena that we've booked. So if you're going to come, I wouldn't hang about, honestly, which is lovely for me to say for once, but tickets are priced at just £15 for both of those events as well, Cardiff and Liverpool. Right, here we go, question time. Best fast food? Pizza. Pizza for me. What's the next one? Expectations for next season, says 31D3NZ00Q. Champions League football again, and to get out of the group stage in the Champions League. So I'm saying top 4 finish and to get out of the group stages of the Champions League would be minimum for me. Who's winning the Champions League? Do you know, I've got a mad feeling Dortmund are going to do it somehow. Although Madrid on paper are clearly the stronger side. I don't know. But then there's also that jinx of Dortmund back in Wembley where they lost to Bayern Munich the last time as well when Kloppo was the gaffer. I hope Dortmund do it. I hope. Because, look, who doesn't love an underdog story? Who do I think we will sign? Genuinely, said Jacob. Ederson is one that I feel there is real credibility to. Centre-back wise, I don't know on the centre-back one. I'm being honest because the links to Pacho and Hincapié are interesting, particularly Pacho, but I feel like a homegrown player is going to be brought in somewhere in this window, and whether that's going to be in the centre-back position or an attacking position remains to be seen. So the only one I can say I feel I'm not even confident on, but I feel like there's a lot of sense to the Ederson one. What do I think of the new Champions League format? It's hard to know until it happens, right? But I like the fact that we as fans get a couple of extra Champions League games. I like the fact that you play 8 different teams in the group stage, 4 home, 4 away. And I like the fact that we're in it for the first edition of the new competition. There seems to be a bit of a problem brewing between FIFA and players, representatives, and a lot of other associations around the new Club World Cup that's kicking off next year, because there just isn't space, and players, representatives and player, I think FIFA Pro, is that the ones, are starting to kind of call to arms on it. Brian, thank you, mate. Lovely suit. I mentioned you earlier on, Brian. I did say that you'd already told me to say hello to everyone in Belfast tomorrow. And in comes Brian with an incredibly generous super chat, mate. Thank you so much. Brian travelled over to Dublin for our first ever show from Boston as well, mate. So thank you so much. You will definitely be there in spirit, Brian. Ever been to Wales? Yes, I have. I've been to Rill. We went to, what was it, the Sundome, Super City, Super Sunsplat. I can't fucking remember the name, but I was like a kid. But yeah, and we're going to Wales, sure, in August for the Cardiff show. What's the minimum requirements for slot? I'd say 5th on a good cup run, depending on incoming and outgoing players. For me, it has to be Champions League qualification, getting out of the group, and after that, I don't mind. Domestic cups, I've got to be honest, I'm not really that fussed about them. If you get to the quarters and semis, I want to win them, but I'm not all that fussed about them. So yeah, Champions League qualification and getting out of the group. Have I ever been to Kilkenny? No, I haven't. Sun Centre, there you go, Dave, thank you. No, I've never been to Kilkenny. I've never been to Kilkenny, I've never been to Kerry. I think they're the only 2 counties. Good luck for tomorrow. Thank you, Jacob. Thoughts on the Werner loan extension? I find it a bit of a weird one because they had an option to buy him, I think, for €15 million. Didn't trigger the option, but have him on loan for the season now. It doesn't scream confidence, does it? But he seems happy and settled there. Obviously, he was in London before with Chelsea. And as a loan, it's decent business for them. Can I be on TOTL? Dude, I don't know what the hell's happening with TOTL at the minute. We were talking with somebody about building the channel out to involve a full team and profile of a lot of people. Somebody else has offered to buy top of the league from us, and then there's our own thoughts of what, do we want to keep it on and do something else with it? So I don't know what's happening with it is the honest answer. Was it the real Sun Centre? Yes. The one that does it have a monorail gone around it or something? I remember I had a wave machine. I was only like 12 when I was there or something like that. Ever planning on visiting Yellowstone National Park? So the odds are I'll never set foot in America again because of being removed from the ESTA system, meaning I have to jump through hoops. So I love America, and when we didn't do the Boston show because we had the wrong visa, that problem meant that in order for me to go to America in the future, I have to apply for a 10-year holiday visa, which involves a ridiculous amount of paperwork, really intrusive questions, and an interview up in the embassy in Dublin just to get a holiday visa because I've been removed off the ESTA, which is the visa waiver program system, for that honest mistake. I got punished for telling the truth, basically, is my version of this one. So yeah, I'll probably never set foot in America again because I started filling out the paperwork for that holiday visa and it was mad. Like, really intrusive level of questioning that I felt very uncomfortable answering for a holiday. Have you ever been to Sean's Baronet Loan? Do you know what? You're not going to expect me to say this, but I have. Which is mad. I know, a bit random, but yes, I have. I believe I was there when we beat Cardiff, if my memory's right, in the League Cup on penalties. Surely Liverpool will be 4th favourites behind City, Madrid, Arsenal for the bookies for the Champions League. Well, we should be well ahead of Arsenal. Because, let's be honest, like, as good as Arsenal are, they've never been able to win a European Cup. So, I think we should be somewhere in and around it. But look, I love the Champions League. It's, just hearing that, the champions, it's amazing. I'm so glad we're back in it. And thank you, Pranav, for your super chat as well. Very, very kind of you. Maddison or Szoboszlai? I would rather keep Dom. So I'm going to go with Dominic Szoboszlai. But again, James Maddison's a very good footballer. I think Dominic Szoboszlai still has more to give at Liverpool. We haven't seen the full best of him this year, but I do think we'll see it moving forward. Which current or previous Liverpool player would you like to meet in person, and what would you talk about? So, I'm thinking about something for a sec because I might need your help. My dream would be to do a regular once a week or once a fortnight show with John Aldridge. And the reason I love John Aldridge is, well, it's multifaceted. One, obviously, he had the Irish connection as well. But most importantly, what I've always liked about John Aldridge, apart from how amazing he was, is how honest and forthright and open he's always been about his thoughts on Liverpool and how passionate he is still as a fan and a former player. So, Aldo would be the one, which is mad because I could say so many ones like King Kenny and all, but honestly, I've always had a dream of interviewing Aldo. I haven't been able to make it happen yet. I don't know. We've tried to get in contact with him, but haven't been able to make that connection. But I'd love to have Aldridge as a regular once every 2 weeks that we pay for interviews on the channel and stuff, because I love John Aldridge. I think he's you know the way we talked about Carragher being our representative on the pitch? You know, same with Gerrard. You know, people in the stands could look down and see the lifeblood, Liverpool fans through and through. I've always looked at Aldo like that, as being the real working man's representative. And I love John Aldridge, so Aldo. I've been lucky to meet some former players that I've showed you before, like Haman, Smeetser, Djibril Cissé, Luis Garcia, Jamie Carragher, Robbie Fowler, Steve McManaman. I think maybe one or two more. On the Anfield tour, I met John Aldridge, said Tanya. Nice. So, when we go over to Cardiff and Liverpool, Tanya, Lucas is coming with us. So, I'm hoping to be able to bring Lucas on the stadium tour of Anfield when I'm over there in August. And in and around all the murals and stuff as well around Anfield, because my little dude's never been to Liverpool, so really excited by that. And wow, that was class. What a man to meet when you're on the tour. Nice one. Recap news, please. I've already done it, Andre, and I've promised to chat for the last 25 minutes. I'll do a Q&A, mate. So, you know, I keep my promise. Let's just end this poll, by the way. Do you believe Diaz and Gomez are open to moving to Saudi? And 70% of you guys say no, even though reports suggest otherwise. I met John Barnes at Anfield. Nice. Absolutely legend. Is Lucas a Liverpool fan? I mean, he is in the sense that Daddy's dressed him in Liverpool stuff since he was a kid. But he's never really... He hasn't fallen in love with football yet. So I'm hoping, bringing him over, showing him Anfield, I'm hoping to inspire him. Who's been our biggest flop signing in the last 10 years? And that comes in from Zumzi. Thank you, mate. Biggest, Naby Keita. It's got to be. Some people might say Andy Carroll. For me, it's Keita, because of how underwhelming the whole thing was. But maybe people disagree. But I think, yeah, for me, Naby. Would I rather Somerville or Adeyemi, said Jake Thompson. Adeyemi for me, mate, because I know a lot more about him. I haven't really seen much of Crescencio Somerville. And for those asking me to recap the news, one of the stories today was that Liverpool, actually two of the stories today, of Liverpool have stepped away from being interested in Somerville. I've done that one. What do you think of Rafael Leao, Luis Diaz swap deal? I think it's not going to happen, but I take it. I think, look, I'm baffled by the stories linking Rafael Leao to Saudi. Surely he doesn't move there at this point in his career. But would I take that as a swap deal? Yeah. Would I ever work again with Gold? I'm not going to say what you've written. I'm going to say Gold Bridge. Look. Would I ever work again with Goldbridge? No. I don't think that relationship could be mended. But I'm not somebody who likes carrying bad blood forward in life. And I don't like any hostilities with anybody. So I would always be open to a channel of communication and a conversation. But I've no need or want to work with him again. But I will say this. I feel like we could have been unstoppable if he had have just treated me as a peer when I was on That's Football. And look, he's hugely successful. I'm not going to sit here and say he hasn't had great success, but nobody would tell me that a me and Goldbridge double act would not have been unstoppable. But life takes you in a certain direction, and, you know, there's a lot of stuff I don't want to talk about, and some of it is not my place to talk about. So I'll just politely say no, but I'm always open to a channel of communication with anybody. And I've proved this in the past with people I've fallen out with, or who have badmouthed me, who've reached out and we've mended things behind the scenes. So I'm always open to communication, because I think a lack of communication in life a lot of the time can lead to these problems. If we could bring 3 past players to the squad now, who would they be? Suarez, Gerrard, Hyypiä, off the top of my head. But then, like, that's so hard, because now I'm thinking Robbie Fowler, John Barnes, Ian Rush, Kenny Dalglish, Jan Molby, Xavi Alonso, Mascherano, Alan Hansen. God, who else could we do with? Goalkeeper wise, I don't think we can improve on what we have. Yeah, I mean, Ronnie Wheat, you could pick 50 probably. As Ben said there, communication was the biggest issue. Yes. And I tried to be as polite as I could about that whole conversation there a minute ago. Who's the dude dancing with you in your intro? Oh yeah, okay, cool. So, the dude dancing with me in my intro is Nulan Voider. He's our dancing alien. He originated as an alien called, I think, Howard the Alien, that we use for a particular reason. The reason being, remember when we won the league title and it was that COVID football season, and you had some fan channels and some other football clubs and some players and the likes of Karen Brady as well wanting the season to be ended and null and voided. We decided that we needed a mascot to say fuck you to everybody who was trying to curtail and cancel the season when we were already running away with the league. So we decided that our Nulan Voider, null and void, was going to be our little pet. But what we didn't expect was how well Nulan was going to go down with people in the chat. So then, as time goes on and we score a goal, more and more people want Nulan there to celebrate. Then our friends of 44 Toons very kindly drew us the cartoon version of me and Nulan. And I don't know how to make it make sense to anybody, but he is as big a part of this channel as I am in my eyes. I love Nulan. So yeah, that's the story. It started off as our pushback against people who wanted the league null and voided, and we wanted to say, you know, F you to those people. Best of luck with the upcoming shows, Craig. You'll nail them. Thank you, Mark. Appreciate you, bro. Yeah, I'm buzzing for them, but also scared. But yeah, really, really happy. Again, see this link at the top of the live chat there that says Anfield Agenda live shows. Not only is that a link for the tickets for all the live shows, but it's also a link to all of our social media accounts. So if you ever want to give us a follow on the likes of TikTok, Instagram, X, or look for our show tickets, that link at the top of the chat there is a link tree which will bring you to a page where you can click on the link for each of them individually. So Belfast is tomorrow, so I hope to see you guys there. But Cardiff and Liverpool are August the 2nd and August the 4th, and they're going to be the last 2 live shows that I ever do, because it takes a lot out of me mentally to be able to do these shows, because I'm very, very scared to walk on stage and do them. So these are the last 2 I'm doing, and I couldn't think of better places to finish. My last ever live show being in the city of Liverpool. It feels really cool, and I'm looking forward to them, as well as being scared. How's Harvey doing these days? He's amazing. I only said to Sabrina earlier on, I can't imagine life without Harvey in it now. You know, we've only had Harvey a year and a half, maybe a little bit longer. But dude is as much a family member as anyone else, and I love him. I talk to him every day. We have great chats. He listens to me. I love him. I just love him. I couldn't imagine life without him. Thank you for your kind words, by the way. Again, for the likes of Zumzi and Brian as well. You're really kind. I'm from Wellington, New Zealand. I love Phoenix, Alex Paulson. The young keeper is excellent, and it would make my year to see him sign for Liverpool. So here, answer me this. Wellington Phoenix, do they play in the A-League? Because I knew Wellington was in New Zealand, and this is why when I said to Conor earlier on, we're linked with a keeper from Wellington Phoenix. They're in the A-League, right? Because I think it's Central Coast Mariners who are top in the league, and Wellington Phoenix are second. Who is Harvey? Harvey's my dog, Troy. So for my birthday last year, my wife always knew I wanted a French bulldog, but we never had the money for a French bulldog because, you know, they're an expensive dog, and we weren't at a stage in life where we had, you know, 1,500 quid to go spending on a dog. But when the business starting to move a little bit, last year for my birthday, my wife got me Harvey. She knew the breeder. It was a local. She knew how well the dog had been looked after and where it came from. And yeah, Harvey was brought into my life as soon as I returned from a holiday, actually, about 18 months ago. And I love him to bits. Honestly, I never thought I'd feel this attached to a dog. And I've had dogs most of my life, but this little dude is just, he's amazing. He's just your fat little, pudgy little superstar. Yeah, so he's my little French bulldog, and he's named after Harvey Elliott because that's how much I like Harvey Elliott. Yes, they play in the A-League. How is that? That's weird though. Like, it is New Zealand, but they're playing in the A-League. Can we see Harvey? If I brought him in now, he would jump all over the screen and knock me everywhere and the screen. I'm sure I have a picture I can show you. Yeah, 1 second. Here's a picture of Harvey from a while ago. 1 sec, I'll just make this fit. 1 sec. There you go. There's my little Harvey. My beautiful little boy. So yes, there you go. That's my little French bulldog Harvey. There was a rumour that we were going to get both Bellinghams, then Real came calling. Oh, did you see actually? Is it Palace? Somebody's trying to sign Joe Bellingham. There's been a few stories about that today, so yeah, let's wait and see what happens there. But interesting. I know there was talk that Real wanted both Bellinghams over in Madrid at some point. Maybe it'll happen, but yeah, I think it was Palace. Was it Palace? Yeah, Michael said it was Palace there in the chat. Be a big get for them, and I guess will maybe help it, ease it if they lost a player or two. He looks like you. He does, Keith. He's better looking than me, though. You know, I'm fatter than him. Thoughts on Watkins? I'd love it to be true, Godfred, but I don't think there's anything to it. You know, Villa Champions League, Emery new contract. Don't need the money because they're fairly wealthy owners. Maybe they have some FFP or PSR stuff to sort out, but I can't see them selling Watkins. Right, look, It is 10:30, so I'm going to call it a night, my friends. Again, I won't be live tomorrow, but I do want to just let you guys know about what will be coming out tomorrow from a content perspective. So, we're going to have a clip coming out tomorrow at 12, but the first of our end of season player ratings videos is going to come out tomorrow evening at 6 o'clock. It's going to be one of two. The second part is going to come out, I think, on Sunday. So I did record the end of season player ratings for the whole squad, and the first part of that is going to be coming out tomorrow evening, just as we're about to start up in Belfast. And again, thank you for another great night. If you're going to be in Belfast tomorrow, look forward to seeing you. If not, hopefully I'll see you in Cardiff for Liverpool over the summer. Until then, much love. Appreciate your support. Thank you to everyone tonight, Brian and everyone that sent in super chats and all as well. Do hit the like button and subscribe button before you head off. Most importantly, have yourselves a wonderful weekend, and I will see you next live on Saturday at 7:30.